This is our 13th episode, and I feel like that's kind of cool.
13. Oh
Yeah.
my God, no way.
Yeah.
Love this.
So we have Helen with us again, all the way from the UK. She last did an episode with us about using Reiki to heal her son's leg before it was amputated. Lovely story. Go check that out. And if you like her, I'll have all her social media information below so you can go follow her, work with her, and all those types of things. But thank you so much for being here. I love you so much.
Love catching up with you, Nia. Absolutely love it.
So, not a lot of people know, but you and I are actually friends, even though
Yeah.
we live in totally different areas. And you've kind of been helping me through my whole situation right now with my boyfriend having cancer and, just trying to do Reiki to help him with his pain levels or to even, heal the cancer itself or at least get more answers as to like what's really going on. And I've come to learn, well, actually, first, so on this Thursday, he has to do a PET scan. And that's basically going to tell us if the cancer is in more than one place.
Oh, God.
And they basically said that if it is, then he has stage 4, which,
Really?
which is obviously like end stage, like really, really bad. So that's going to happen on Thursday. I'm not really looking forward to it.
No. And it's took such a long time to get this appointment as well, which is just like so nerve-wracking in itself.
I know.
And it has been such a long time, Nia, really.
Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is, he's been struggling for really the last year. And he went to a doctor like literally a year ago, and she was like, to look at his throat, and she was like, oh, I've never seen anything like this, but you're probably fine, so just come back in a couple months and we'll check it again. And then by the time she checked it again, she was like, oh yeah, this looks like cancer. So she basically just let him like sit and just wait and see how things would turn out.
It's just, I mean, you're laughing, but it's like, it's really scary. Like, since my ordeal with my situation, like, I have such fear about going to doctors now because I generally don't feel safe about going. It's like a real fear thing. And I thought it was bad in the UK because we have like the free national health system. But like, when I've heard your story over in America, it's like just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time. And that's kind of my thing too, is I kind of cope by like making jokes or like laughing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying.
No, I get it. Yeah, totally.
Because it's just been such a mess. And what's crazy too, I haven't even told you this. So
Oh my
part of
God.
his symptoms is that he like will randomly like black out and like just pass out, fall over. And apparently this actually started in 2020. And he told me that he went to like a local clinic and said, hey, listen, this is bad. And he said that his intuition was telling him that it was some type of cancer, like something serious back then. And they just said, oh, you're young, you're fine. Like, just, be careful, basically, is what they told him. So he's probably had this for years.
Oh my God, Nia, I'm praying. Honestly, I am praying so much. You're in my thoughts all the time. Like, Chris is in my thoughts all the time. Like, it's just, I'm just praying. I am.
Thank you. It sucks, but we'll get into it. But, the thing that I've discovered is that, because, there's that thought like, oh, you're a healer. Why don't you just heal him and make it go away? And like, of course, like, yeah. But one, I've noticed that since I'm so emotionally involved, I kind of compare it to like a guy who can't get it up. You know what I mean? I have so much pressure to perform that like
that is the perfect way to put it. Oh my God.
Like I can't get it up. I'm trying so hard.
That is perfect because it is like that. It is like that. You have, I think, where emotions and with fears just get such in the way. I can totally relate to that, like, so much. I just, sometimes I did have to take weeks off and like, because you're dealing with it emotionally as well, like you're going through this just as much. And, you have to kind of look after yourself as well, like get your own vibe right. If you have good days, go for it. If you have bad days, just like, I think just trusting that the energy's working, like spirit is with you, the universe is helping. Like, I know obviously when I was talking about Mason, like there was a lot of times I was doing it, but there was a lot of breaks as well. There was. And you just have to build your own energy up at the same time. But you're honestly dealing with this like so amazingly. Like, I just admire you so much because I wasn't as strong as you.
Thank
Like,
you.
I really wasn't. I was so fucking emotional. Like, so you're doing fantastic. You really are.
Thank you. I give all the credit to, source. I just feel like I understand that every soul has its own destiny and its own path, and I'm just trusting. And that even goes back to the healing work. Being a good healer is knowing when to let things also just take their course. Cuz
Yeah,
some people are meant to have a journey like your son where they do have a miraculous healing and then that changes their spirituality. And then other people are meant to go down a harder road to become
that's
closer
the
to
thing,
themselves.
yeah, because you don't know what their sole purpose is and what their life plan is, and you don't. It's hard because even that goes in your head, and you think, well, if this is meant to be, I can't get in the way of that. But it's hard because it's like you can heal everything and you know the power of Reiki and you know you can heal energy and you can, but also like people have life paths and they're meant to go the way they're meant to go. So it does get in your fucking head like so much, and then your fears creep in and your doubts creep in and you go down so many rabbit holes. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, when I was going through it, I had like my intuition was screaming at me that he was going to lose the leg. Like my intuition was telling me, I was having visions of it, I was seeing it. Like I had angels coming to us, like telling us it was going to happen.
Mhm.
Honestly, I did, Nia. I really, really did, and I just kept going with it. I just kept going with it. I just couldn't let it happen. Like I just kept going.
Yeah.
I just did, and that really like affected me as well because seeing them visions and get being told them messages. Like I literally had a woman angel come to us and hold us, and she was like just holding us. I was crying, and she a very motherly kind of angel. But that traumatized us. That really traumatized me in such a deep way. But then it all worked out. Do you know what I mean? Like it just all worked out, and you can't ever plan it either at the same time. Like you nobody knows what's gonna happen. Like, you just
Yeah.
don't know. I think all you've gotta do is just bring your light in any way that you can.
I agree. And, it was just so scary though when I first was trying to do Reiki for him. And it's
Mhm.
been this way our whole relationship. It's never happened to me before. I couldn't see his energy. I couldn't feel anything. It was
Right.
like totally closed off. And I do think the emotions are part of it, but I truly think it's God or whatever you want to call it intervening and being like, you got to let it play out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has been scary because exactly like what you're saying, I've gotten intuitive messages that he will pass before I do. And
Mhm.
but I do feel like it'll still be later. You know what I mean? It'll be
Yeah.
later in life. But that is scary too because I already have that awareness and that knowledge. So it is kind of like,
It
ooh.
just it
But
just
at the
shakes
same
you.
time, I've kind of let him do his thing. I give him a lot of
Yeah.
time to be alone, and he's come to me and like told me that he's had like realizations, that he's reached like
Love that.
acceptance with a lot of trauma that he's had. So I feel
Love
like
that.
him on his own, he needs to heal himself basically.
Yeah, like, do the emotional work to help the energy kind of shift.
Yeah.
I think that's always the root of the issue. We know this now, like, for sure. If he's doing that work, getting the medical help, we're doing healing when we can, like, like it hopefully it's gonna be a long time. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part though of being a healer or a light worker is that you don't have all the power, you don't have all the knowledge,
No,
and
no.
so it's really hard for us in a lot of ways because we're just humans. I mean, really, at the end
Mhm.
of the day, and that's what kind of sucks. And I wanted to get into that too, of like just how hard it is sometimes to be a light worker because people on the internet make it seem like we're just, oh, I'm talking to the fairies today,
Yeah.
like you know, but it sucks. It's hard. And
It
I've
is
seen some
hard.
of your Instagram stories where you're like just raw and emotional. And I think that's important for people to see.
Yeah, I always try. I'm just an emotional girl. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm up and down, in and out. Like it's just how I am. You are like so much more grounded than me, and I really admire you for that. But I am just a hot mess a lot of the time. But also, like I was very much on the beginning of my journey, whereas so I didn't really have anyone coming to me and saying, "Oh, like you're an energy healer, like you can just heal it kind of thing. But I had when I would tell people, no, I'm gonna heal it. I'm gonna learn this and I'm gonna heal it. Like I'm gonna do anything I can. They would just look at us like I was stupid. Like, like or they just wouldn't even acknowledge what I've said. It wasn't even a case of them looking at it stupid. They would just like, oh, you think you're gonna heal it? Like
Yeah.
even when I did heal it, they've still not acknowledged it because it's kind of like the kind of thing I'm talking absolute crap. And a lot of these people are my family. A lot of these people are my friends. A lot of these people are like people who actually know what I went through. And they either just think I'm talking crap and it's been a miracle and it's worked out, or it's, the medical procedures you went through. And a lot of people get triggered by that power as well. Like a lot of people get quite jealous and triggered by that. And that's fair enough. But like, I remember just feeling like, would you have been happier if you actually lost a leg? Like, would you have would that have made you feel better right now? Like,
Yeah.
I think people are very it's I think sometimes like it's easier for people to give you sympathy than to celebrate your success.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that just hit me in my heart.
Honestly, it's so true.
Oh.
It's but even the like more so for the people that is closest to you.
Yeah, and that's not fair. That's not fair at all. Like, I've been doing this work, well, officially since I was like 18. And I get made fun of all the time. I've always been getting made fun of, like, oh, you're gonna ask your cards, da da da. And it's like, I get it, like, it can seem silly, but it's also like, I don't make fun of you for,
No,
like,
yeah.
your things that you do. Maybe I don't know, I don't wanna smash anyone's religion or spirituality. Like, even that, like, have the human decency to just let people do their thing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
But it does suck.
Yeah. I think for me, like I have had them kind type of comments, but it's also like that people look at it like a cult and like it's like conspiracy and but once you have a taste of this other side of life, like you just nothing else is real. Like nothing else you just see what is real and what is not. So like they're in one world and you're in the other and it's just like I know what you mean. I know what
Yeah,
you
it's
mean.
just completely different frequencies and different levels of awareness is really what it
Mhm.
is. And, when I was younger, I used to try to, like, I guess, convert people, and I used to be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
well, just this is all you need to know, and then just do it." But you can't force it. People just
Yeah.
truly are on different frequencies, and the best thing is just accept everyone where they are.
Yeah, you were young though with your spiritual awakening. Like 18's like so young, such a little baby, really, weren't you? That's like I think that's like huge though for you as a soul, like to come and have the balls to like carry that at that age. Do you know
Thank
what I
you.
mean?
Yeah, I guess
Really,
so.
I
I
do.
To me, it just felt so normal, and I was
Mhm.
confused why everyone else was like not getting it.
Mhm. Mhm. I
But
get
at
it.
the same time, like, I still did make, mistakes that teenagers made.
Of course.
I still have my karma, my soul journey. And I think that's the biggest thing I've been so obsessed with lately is past lives, karma, life journey, life path. And especially like with this eclipse that's happening today, I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of karma coming up for people, hopefully to be cleared. And I've
Yeah,
just been
whole lot
looking at that a
really.
lot. Like, have you had a lot of like karmic past things popping up lately?
Oh, so much. Yeah. Like big family things for me, big time. Big time. Because actually, like, even when you might relate to this a little bit, but like when I was going through that with my son, like I actually just walked away from my whole family.
Mm.
Like I walked away from every single one of them because they weren't supporting me the way that we needed. And I was like, if you can't come and support us and give us love, get out my way, like, because I don't need this energy. Like, are you being supported? Like, are people being there for you? Are they helping you?
Um, it's kind of a mixed bag. I feel like there are some people who just still just don't believe it, and I don't understand why not. I guess
Oh,
maybe
that's so
because
silly.
he's young, or I really don't know. I feel like some people just still are like confused, I guess. And then
Mhm.
there's other people who I feel like their support is a little bit more for them to look good. You know?
I
Not
totally get
everyone, though. I
that.
do feel
Yeah.
like we have some people, but the support is really more just like, "I'm praying for you."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody's come and, like, brought a casserole or something. It's more just been thoughts and prayers or, "Oh, get better soon."
It's
That's what I
hard,
hate.
isn't it? It's so hard. It is hard because when you're living in it, like, you're actually getting them through the pain, through, like, the emotional trauma, the fears, the doubts, the just absolute, like, just petrified sometimes. Like, like, there's a lot of moments like that. There's a lot of moments where you're really having to pull each other through it. And also, you've got a little girl in the mix as well. Like, no one sees their moments where you're just on your knees praying to God just for strength to get through the next minute, never mind hour. Um, so I always make a point now, and I know my son gets a little bit annoyed with this, but I am
Mhm,
always like, if people are going through stressful things, like whether it's just moving house or the just even people I don't really know, I will honestly go out my way to let them know that I'm offering help, like I'm offering support. And I always just say to them, I never, ever, ever want anyone to feel the way that we felt. I just
yeah,
like so alone. It's such a scary, scary time. Like, I don't care if it looks a bit much or if it's like, if I can even offer that at the time, if I can handle it, I'm gonna offer it. I'm gonna make them feel like someone's out there, like acknowledging their pain and what they're going through. Like, it's stuck with me so much. It has, because I think it's so easy, like just to see things on a screen as well. Like, oh, they'll be fine and we'll get on with our own life, but like life gets fucking really hard. Like life, and we all should be mulling together like that. I think we should all be pulling together in the hard times just as much as the good. Like it's life. We can't stop these things from happening, can we? Do you know what I mean?
mhm. And I think that that's even, like, a soul journey thing for you or even, like, a karmic thing of being, like, just having that extra empathy towards other
Hmm.
people because it is easy to just be like, "Oh, get better," or praying for you, but to, like, really, like, get in there is hard. And I feel
Yeah.
like I've realized for me, part of my, like, karma or my soul journey has been well, my biggest problem is relationships. I've been through
Mhm.
some messed up relationships,
Oh man, I hear
and
you so
yeah,
much.
and it seems like I get put into people's lives to help them, and they
Hmm.
either rise to the occasion or they don't. That seems to be the
Yeah.
recurring theme, and, it's just so ironic that I finally find somebody that, like, I feel safe, I
I've
feel
actually thought
safe.
this here about you. I've actually thought this in my head. I really have. I know what you're gonna say. Keep going.
Yeah, and of course, like, finally, and then it's like, "Oh, well, now everything's gonna go wrong," and,
Oh.
and what's interesting, though, is as dark as it is, like, just kind of having that, uh, awareness that he could, um, like, pass away,
Mhm.
it kind of has, like, brought us closer too because it does show that, like, I am there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
But it's also, like, it makes every moment so precious, and, like, you don't wanna waste time fighting over, like, "Oh, take out the trash," or, like,
Mhm.
stupid things, so I think it's also, like, really beautiful, just,
Yeah.
like, taking the moment of, like, all everyone's time is temporary, and you have to,
Mhm.
like, enjoy it, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I totally understand that. It's obviously just it really brings like what's important. And the time you're having is a hell of a lot more beautiful than what it would be. I know
Yeah.
that doesn't help anything, but do you know what I mean? I know it doesn't, but you will have these beautiful memories, like this deepness now. This I know this doesn't help, and I am so sorry. I
No,
am.
it's okay, it's okay. But I think it's good, one thing too that I'm kinda happy about is I feel like his daughter like, she sees that he's very sick, but I feel like she doesn't really understand, which actually I kind of prefer that she doesn't because I don't think she emotionally could handle it. Because like, her grandpa just passed away,
Oh,
and
you
all
did.
she talks about is her grandpa, like, all the time. So I feel like I'm kinda glad that she's more focused on that and not
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
But yeah,
It's
anyways,
it's it's for the best, it is. I really struggle with this because, like, this is one thing that I haven't dealt with is losing someone close to us through death. Like, I genuinely me nana, but, like, she's my spirit guide now, so she's always with me.
yeah,
Like, I'm closer to her now than what I was when she was on Earth. Um, so this is like something that I really worry about and panic about, and which is why I just admire you so much. Like, I can't imagine how I would feel in this situation, but like your strength and your heart and your light just shines through. Like, you're still showing up every single day, and I honestly just think it's incredible. I
thank
genuinely
you.
do. Every day when I see your little videos, I'm just like, go on, girl. Because
Thank
you
you.
must, you must be feeling it. Like, I don't know, I couldn't do that. I couldn't put my emotions aside and get my head in the game. I was just emotional, and I was just, this is this is who I am. Like, and it's a really strong thing to do and to have about yourself. It
Thank you.
is.
I do appreciate that. Like, I do have an awareness that, like, I've heard, I don't know, but I've
Hmm.
heard that once you start going through like radiation and chemo, that basically things get worse. I don't know how they can possibly get worse, but apparently they do. And what's really messed up though is I've been trying to do research of like what to expect, like things to kind of mentally prepare, or even if there's anything I have to do to prepare. And the most common thing I see at like the top of the list is like, expect your partner to have less of a sex drive. I'm like, who is concerned
Are
about
you
having sex
joking?
when your spouse is like battling cancer? Like, get a freaking vibrator. What's like what's wrong with you? But it was
That's
like
just,
literally like number one on every single
oh
list.
my God, are you serious?
I swear.
That's just, I've got no words. I've got no
I
words.
can't. But like, why would? Oh my god! But it just goes to show that like so many people are in the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
That should not even be. I haven't even thought about that being
No,
an
I bet you
issue.
haven't. I bet you haven't. You're literally just getting through every day. Have you thought about, I was telling my friend tonight before I came on, I was just telling her a little bit about your situation, and she mentioned like this RSO thing. Like, have you looked in other kind of alternative ways? Do you know, like CBT? You would have heard of CBT, haven't you?
CBT? Oh, you mean CBD, like the cannabis?
Yeah, that. But
Okay.
then there's this, it's called, I'm sure it's called RSO. And I was like, she's in America though. And she was like, yeah, yeah, it's in America. But she's all into like conspiracies, if that's what you want to call it. But she's like very clued up on all of that going on, a bit like yourself. But there's this, I'm going to message you about it when I get off here because I wish I could remember what she said and I can't. But it's like this black, like liquid stuff. And it's you put it in a syringe and I think you put it on your tongue and it's meant to be like really, really, really helpful, but also like herbs and things. Have you looked up like different herbs that can help and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been studying like herbalism and things like that. Um, but to be honest, what I feel is, well, first of all, cancer more or less is a man-made disease. So I kind of feel like you do need man-made medicine to really like.
Mm,
But I also think that the problem though is the emotions that kind of created it.
yeah.
So I feel like that's the number one thing, and I feel like if he can continue to work through that and make it through the, man-made treatments, I think that that's gonna be the best.
And if we can just keep filling him up with light, like just keep pushing all that energy out, cleansing it out. I am more than happy to do that every other day, every week. What honestly, just message me anytime.
Yeah,
There'll never be a problem.
I appreciate you. You've been more helpful, and you're, like, not even in the same country.
But this is a thing that happened. If I didn't go through that with my son, I probably wouldn't have this much empathy. Like, obviously I would, but like I just have to show up for you. You have to know that I'm here. Like, I don't care if I'm thousands of miles away. Like, what do you need? I'm here, and I'm just like that because I really know what it's like to to not have that. Like, and it's really lonely and scary and horrible. It is. It
Yeah.
is.
You know what? I'm kinda grateful that, so I wanna kinda connect this with the past life and the karma. I've always had a soul where I feel like an orphan. Like, I feel like every life
Right.
I've had, I either have been an orphan or just felt that way. So I
Mhm.
think, honestly, the being alone doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I have
Really?
my moments. I do have
Mhm.
moments where I'm like, "Man, I wish, like, somebody would help
Mhm.
me, like, at least clean the house or, make food for us or something," but honestly, I think I'm so used to feeling like I have nobody but myself and God that, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't affect me as much.
Mhm.
Um, but anyways, I kinda wanna change the topic a little bit because it's, like,
Okay.
kind of a lot, but, yeah, so segueing into the relationships and the crappy things that we go through as light workers. Girl, this is
Mhm.
so funny, I wanted to tell you this. So, I was going through my old, like, photos on my phone because 'cause I'm running out of storage and just wanted to, like, delete, and I saw screenshots from, like, my boyfriend from, like, forever ago. Like, we dated from, like, 18 to 20 years old, and, we lived together in this, like, really fancy apartment, but basically he was a narcissist, and so that was my first, like,
Was
horrible.
this maybe when I first met you? Did you have like blonde in your hair and stuff during this time? Short? Because I remember you breaking up with him. I remember you like putting a little thing on. You were upset, but you were even then you had so much faith. Like even then you were like so upset, and you were like, "I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be fine."
Yeah, that was little me.
Oh, bless you, man. God, that
Yeah.
feels so long ago.
But yeah, that was crazy. I feel like, man, that was such it feels like a different life, honestly.
Mhm.
Mm. But anyway, so we're in this, like, crazy fancy apartment, and to break the lease was, like, $3,000,
Oh my
and that
god.
was a lot for us, but, like,
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay." So we split that, and then, I guess when he moved out, he, like, trashed the place, so they called me and were like, "Oh, you guys owe us, like, $700 to, like, fix
Oh
everything,"
my god.
which is crazy. So, anyways, both of our names were on the lease. So, like,
Mhm.
this had to be paid. So I reached out to him and I was like, because he said if I sent him half, he would go pay it, right? So,
Right.
silly me, I sent him
Sent him
half,
half.
and then I got a call, hey, you still gotta pay this bill. So I texted him, and I have the screenshots. That's how I remember all this. And I said, "You have till the end of the day to reach out to me, or I'm going to call every single member of your family until you take care of this bill."
Mhm.
And this was a guy, mind you, who was all about science. Everything has a
Right.
scientific, like, answer or reason. So, mocking me, he responds, "Don't be so attached to the physical. Attachment to the physical is detachment from the spiritual."
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Which, like, was so funny, but you know what? I
Oh
thought for a second, and I was like, "You know what? You're right." So I just paid the bill, and I said, "Now we have no reason to ever be in contact." And I
Mhm.
even said, I was like, "I do not wanna see you in my next life, okay? Like,
Yeah.
stay
Oh my
away."
god. I literally had this conversation with my friend earlier, and I was like, if I have to come back and have another life with this motherfucker, I swear to
No, literally, but that's how it is because even that person I was dating,
God.
I have
Mhm.
a lot of, like, psychic dreams, which I think everyone does, and I've done, like, past life regressions and stuff, and I actually had a life with him where we lived in, like, the Wild West or some shit, and he was,
God.
like, going off on a horse to go explore, like, the West or something, I don't know, and he didn't want me to come along, but I begged him and begged him and begged him. He's fine, I'll fucking take you. But he, like, didn't love me, but I was, like, into him. And that was pretty much how the relationship was in this life too.
Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense. I've had past life regression. I've had two, but mine are very like I think my sole purpose in this time is like really it's all about me.
Yes.
It's like I'm like finding myself for the first time. Like with my past life, it was like I like ran away from my family. I was like in like Siberia, and my family were like killing people and killing animals. We were like a tribe there, and I ran away at a young age, and I lived in the forest. This is why I love trees. Like lived in the forest, survived till I was like 27, and then fell down a waterfall and died. But like, and you know what? I didn't even know that I had died. I didn't know. So in the past life, I'm standing at the waterfall, and then I just like I'm falling down the waterfall, and then all of a sudden, like my body's like washed up on the side, and I'm all battered and bruised, but I'm looking at my body, So I'm not in my body looking down the waterfall
Yeah.
anymore. But then I still don't realise that I'm dead, and I'm now out my body looking at my body, and like these two men come running over, and like I was known as like the lady of the land or something like that, like in this forest, like they knew who I was.
Mhm.
And these two men came and took us in the hut, and they were like rubbing herbs all over us. And the man who was doing the past life regression, I was called Anastasia. And he was like, Anastasia, you don't know that you're dead, do you? And I was like, no. And then I just like started panicking, like all this panic of anesthesia just started coming through. And I like clung to this land and clung to these men because I'd been on my own for so long. Like these men come and saved us and showed us like love, and I'd like clung to that energy. And so he like had to pass us over at the light, and I was like petrified. So like it's always about like believing in myself. Like this life is like finding me worth and finding me belief, and I've had to go through a lot of abusive relationships to like get us to get it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it. So now I'm like 35 and I'm only just actually getting it.
It's like that sometimes. It's like that sometimes. I feel like, and I'm really not trying to sound like I'm full of myself, but I just feel like I've lived so many lives
Mm-hmm.
that, like, first of all, I'm kind of over it. I honestly, I don't know if I'll come back. Actually, knowing my ass, I will just for the hell of it.
Just
But
for the crack.
I feel like I'm just like a guide. I feel like people come to me because they're about to go on like a spiritual like
Yeah.
awakening, and I feel like my focus has always been others. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know, but I feel like I've always just been focused on other people.
I think Nia the Healer, that's your name. Like it just says it all. Like, and I do think like you have to like live a lot of lives to learn and embody that energy because it's like so high vibrational, isn't it? And to have that purpose to like hold space for other people, you've got to have a lot of experience to like my eyes watering for some reason, sorry. Yeah, you've got to have the experience in like healing yourself and
Yeah.
evolving as a spirit.
Yeah, and it's so crazy too because I'll go through something that's like traumatic, and then once I make it to the other side, I attract a bunch of clients who are in the middle of what I just
The
completed.
same thing. I'm finding that a lot with my Reiki clients. Like it's very like feminine empowerment. I'm getting a lot of women who've been through a lot of abuse who I can like really just hold space for. Like, and a lot of the time it's very healing for me. And I think that's really important. Like I see you, you see me. Like women need that. We need each other.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else there now. I forgot. Sorry. I was
Was it
gonna
about past lives?
um oh, I'd done this last time as well, didn't I?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's gone, I'm sorry.
Hey, it happens. My grandpa used to say, and I don't really think this is true, but it's like a fun thing. He'd always be like, "Girl, if you forgot what you were gonna say, it was a lie anyway." So I
Oh,
don't think you were lying, but it just leaves
that's
your.
what I was gonna say. But obviously, like, it's funny how you now have this position with your partner. That's what I was gonna say. Like everything we're talking about now, and now look where you're at, like really holding it together for someone who's so dear to you.
Yeah, I do feel like doing the work, like, because you could easily just be sad and like just be struggling in a mess, but I feel like if I didn't have this work also to focus on, like if I didn't have a purpose basically, it
Yeah,
would be so much worse. And I think that's why a lot of people do struggle with everyday life things, is because they feel like they have no purpose or they don't know what it is you know
definitely, definitely. That was like a big thing that I was lacking back then, for sure. But he was my purpose. Like he
Hmm.
he he gave me so much fight because I just knew what he deserved. So I just had to fight for him
Yeah,
in every way.
have you ever done any past life work with Mason?
I know 1,000,000%. We have such a deep soul connection. Like I on that past life regression that I've actually just told you about, I asked about my children and it was very traumatic. And it took us back to like World War I or something. And we lost I lost them. We were like going to get on a train with the little old fashioned suitcases and stuff, and I lost them in the crowd and I lost them. Oh, I could cry right now talking about that. Like And I was like, yeah. So I think like this life, like I've really had to fight for them. Like it's been me and me two kids, like since the day they were born. Like I've had to fight so hard to have what we have, and I think this life I really had to like change that karma 1,000,000%. I
Yeah.
definitely believe that.
And that's so powerful too because, people ask, if God's good, then why do we go through all this shit? Well, I mean, it's for you to be stronger, it's for you to heal, it's for you to like understand and evolve in so many different ways. So like, yeah, like you have that trauma, like your soul knows you have that trauma of losing
Yeah,
your kid,
exactly.
and in this life you were like, "Oh hell
Absolutely.
no."
Mhm.
And that's powerful. That's some powerful
Yeah,
stuff.
so true.
You
Yeah,
know,
so true.
when you did your past life regression, did you ever go to like the life between lives or like the heaven kind of?
Yes. So as when I was Anastasia, they when they took me to the light, Archangel Michael was there, my nana was there, my spirit team were there. People that I'd met that I never thought would be there, that are still alive now, but their soul was
Yeah.
in heaven, like waiting for like a part of my soul to come back up there.
Yeah.
Um, Received loads of healing, and it was so powerful. The man was blown away with mine. He was like, I've never had a past life like that before. It was
Hmm.
just so intense, honestly. Then I've had other past lives where, like, the dad thing is big for me. The masculine kind of like me, and like that masculine energy is like very, very wounded, very. So one of my past lives, I was like in Greece. It was like Greek time, and I was a priestess. I had healing hands, and me dad was a king. Like he was a bit of a king, but and I was healing the poor. I was healing the sick, and he didn't like it because it was taking power away from him.
Hmm.
So he stoned us in the kind of,
Oh,
yeah,
he stoned you?
yeah, he stoned us. And that's
Oh
how I
wow.
died.
Mm.
That's how I died. So like the dad wound is huge in this life.
Yeah, that's
Huge.
one thing I've noticed. Sorry to cut you off.
It's
It's
fine.
not always super common for people to be like a king in a past life, but I've noticed that people who have been tend to have a problem with ego and arrogance in this life.
Mm,
Like
hmm.
very, very bad. Because I mean, imagine that. Like you're so entitled. That's gonna carry over
Yeah,
into,
exactly. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. But also that was a big wound for me in this life, like to believe in myself, to believe in my healing hands, and believe, because I just had so much shame from that life, so much fear from that life. I'm going to be killed if I'm healing people. Like it was like that I had to work through a lot of that just to be where I am now.
Yeah. My biggest reoccurring thing is like, um obviously like the messy relationships, but specifically like not even like mom or dad, but I've had a lot of lives where again I'm orphaned, or even my parents are the reason I died, like just horrible abuse and just
Right.
that kind of theme. And I feel like some problems I faced in this life, I think, is because I mean, everyone wants to have family. Everyone wants to feel like they belong and they're connected. And so I think that that's been a major karmic thing for me, which has
Yeah.
led me to make really bad choices because I'm so desperate for that
For that.
family.
Same. Absolute same for me. Yeah. Because I think you like, if someone chooses you, you're like, oh, they've chosen us, like, yay, like, like
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
actually thinking like, who's choosing us? Like, are they actually, are they worthy to have
mhm,
me? Like, we don't
yeah,
look at that part. We're just like, oh yeah, they choose me. Like, this is fine.
yeah, yeah. And so,
Oh
like,
my
I
god.
just feel like it'll have so much healing for me. Like, once, like, Chris is better and we can, like, do our own thing, and just for me
I
to
can't wait to
create
see
my
that.
own family.
Hmm.
Because honestly, I feel so accepted, like, even by his daughter. Her name is Bree,
You're
and
so cute together.
aw, thank you.
Is this your first time being like a stepmom as well? Oh my god, like it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so beautiful.
And what's crazy is I've always said I was gonna be somebody's hot stepmom.
You are.
I've always said that. But, no, it was so cute though. So the other day we were like hanging out and she was like, "Nia, when are you and dad gonna get married?"
Mm.
And I was like, "Well, maybe when he gets better." And she was like, "'Cause I would love to be your stepdaughter."
Oh my god. Can I
It
ask
was
you a question?
sure.
So, like, what is different from Chris to the others?
Honestly, so each one I have felt like there was like a past life connection,
Mhm.
but there always was something like off. Like there was
Yeah.
always something kind of like whether it was like our goals were different
Mhm.
or like just some type of disconnect. And I feel like with Chris, like when I look into his eyes, there's a different kind of like familiarity.
Yes.
Like it's just like I know you even
Mhm.
before I met you.
Yes, 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 yes. I know that feeling. I've had a bit of a situation for like 5 years, but that was what we had. It was like he's seen my inner child and I seen his, and we just came out together.
Yeah.
And it is like a familiarity. It's like I know you. I remember you. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And I think too just I think we just feel like we can be our complete selves and it doesn't matter how weird or how bad or I can't
They
think of
just
any other words, but you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't matter.
they just get you, and they
Mhm.
just celebrate all your like weird craziness.
Yeah. Like literally, like he's actually very intuitive, which you wouldn't really expect, but
Mhm.
he's so funny. Like I'll be like, "Yeah, like my spirit guide told me that I have to go do XYZ." And he'll be like, "You are so freaking weird. Like get away from me."
But I also love it.
Yeah. Yeah, like he loves it.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That is really nice.
He's the type of person where so he's a mechanic and he has his own business called Rescue Wrench. And
Oh my god, love that.
yeah, and he literally like people have said that he just drops out of the sky and like fixes their car. And he'll go to like the side of the road or like the highway and like help people and stuff. And it's so crazy too. Like he's just such a good person.
Mhm.
And I think, also he's kind of getting to a point where he's like, why? You know what I mean? Like he's really struggling to be like, I did good things, I don't understand. So that's kind of a hard thing
It
to.
is hard, isn't it? It is hard. I remember feeling like that a lot. A lot. And it's hard to like not lose yourself in their moments. Oh, it is like really upsetting for me as well. Like, please know it's. I think you've just got to look at all the good things. Like nobody knows why, nobody knows why, but you've got to just pull what you can learn and bring forward from it. I think. Like I
Yeah.
was trying to get that through to a child, and it was impossible.
Yeah, that's really challenging.
Yeah, it really was impossible. It was hard, like, when he's just seeing all his friends, like, living that life, and, like, I was going through, like, a huge spiritual awakening at the time, so I was trying to, like, bring a small level of spiritual knowledge, like, just dropping little seeds
Mhm.
in, and he's just like, "What are you talking about? Like, none of this makes sense." Like, just so angry. So I guess like he's really lucky to have you and your insight and your knowledge and guidance and faith in God and all of that. He's so lucky to be around that. That will be doing a lot naturally for him.
Yeah, I have been thinking about that too because I don't think a lot of people would I hate to put it this way, but I feel like a lot of people wouldn't wanna stick around, especially because 'cause we've only been together really for, like, a year and a half, and this is, like,
Like,
pretty intense to, like, go
yeah,
through with a
big time,
person.
big
So,
time.
like, I don't wanna say he's lucky to have me, but
But
a
he
little bit.
is. He is lucky. Are you the same age?
No, so I'm 25 and
I
he's
can't believe it.
31.
Oh my god, no way. I still can't get over you're only 25. Yeah, I'm like 10 years older than you.
I feel like we're the same age, though.
I know, I'm like a much younger soul than what. Like I'm just free. I'm just young and I'll just hang on to me youth for as long as I
Yeah.
can. I don't want to be old. I don't want to be
Mhm.
old and boring. Like I just don't.
Yeah, I get that, I do. But I think it's just so crazy, like how things start going together and like just this karmic thing I've been feeling this past life, like I don't it just keeps like coming to my awareness. And what's crazy too is like I've been having weird experiences about them, and even Chris too, like he had a dream, and I do believe that this was a past life memory, and it
Mhm.
makes so much sense for who he is as a soul. He had a dream that he was on a Russian ship.
Oh my god, no
Like a
way.
pirate ship, and he was Russian
Mhm.
too. And that, I don't know if they were pirates necessarily, but that's kind of how it looked. And he said that two of the guys on the ship were fighting, and he tried to break up the fight and ended up getting killed.
Oh my god. That was his dream.
And I feel like that was a past life memory because
Yeah.
he was like, I felt like it was familiar, and it just makes sense for who he is. Like that would, I hate to say it, but that would happen to him. Like he would try to be helping, and then
Be a good person and then yeah. And
yeah.
that must be coming to him for a reason, do you know what I mean? Mhm.
Yeah, I don't wanna speak for him because, like, I do wanna have him on the show, and he wants to do
Oh,
it
that
too,
would be
but
great.
yeah, he wants to be on too, but, like, we would have to use the microphone because like, he mostly has to whisper.
Oh, 'cause
Um,
his voice, yeah.
so he's, like, a
Mhm.
little bit embarrassed, but I think we should still do it. But he's just had a lot of, like, breakthroughs and, like, just a lot of kind of, like, healing, honestly, on a emotional and, like, spiritual level.
Yeah. So is it just more him like reflecting and meditating on certain things, or is he like is he using different things like journaling, or has he got his own little thing that he does?
It's just
Just all yeah.
all in his mind. He's just kind of I feel like he's just been reflecting on life.
Mhm. And
And I
saying it for I think it's
yeah,
coming out of that, like when you're just so blind and you're just in that like you come out of it and you look and you're like, okay, I can see why this has led to these certain things. Which
yeah.
is really empowering, like, they're the moments that, like, really wake you the fuck up. They are, aren't they?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that that's part of the why, like, this is happening so that he can kinda realize it.
Yeah.
Um, even, like, it was so funny. I feel like we've just gotten so much closer, like, through all this, and he'll say, like, "We never fight," and that's so true, like, honestly, we never fight,
Oh,
like,
really? That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Me and my son are like that, like, we have something so special now. Like, we really do. And you know what? I have a lot of baby daddy drama, and this is like the person I do not wanna have another life with after this life. But
yeah,
when you're dealing with someone that is so
yeah.
like this level of reality and you are like, how can you like get through? Like you just can't. Like I just he I'm going into something, yeah, but I think it could be important, like whatever. Um he just can't look at what we went through and appreciate me as a mother for getting him through that because he wasn't there. So like he's still hating on me for like, I'm not married or I don't have a car or I don't have a mortgage or he's like
Rude.
he's like judging me and shaming
Wow.
me for these things. But I'm like, you're lucky I am actually this mother right now because I should be like smacked up in a gutter somewhere. Like, I'm not joking. Like, it took some strength to go through what went through before the leg, never mind get with son through the leg, and then still be who I am right now and have the beautiful relationship that we have. Like, he thinks because I'm not buying and I'm not financially in, a really comfortable situation, I'm a shit parent and I'm not worthy of some respect. And I'm just like at home, like giving my son like love and care and understanding and teaching him about life and having all these good conversations that will stay with him forever. Like, like this is a parent. This is a parent. He's warm. He's fed. He's got a roof over his head. He's got a best friend as a mom. Like, we can talk about anything. We can literally talk about anything. Like, and that really hurts sometimes because I just feel like I really deserve like respect.
Yeah.
It's not even about healing the leg. It's not even about that. I don't need that validation from anyone. It's just like wow, like, thank God my son had her. Thank
Yeah.
God my son had her there with him every minute to get him through that. Like, thank God.
Mhm.
Thank God. Because it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And that like I just really struggle with that. I really, really, really I don't know how I got onto that. I don't know where that came from.
No, it's alright. I mean, obviously, I don't blame you. I think that's so petty, like, "Oh, you're not married." Like, is he married?
Yeah, he's married and but who said I even want to be married? Like, I don't. I'm quite fucking happy, like, doing my thing. Like, I don't even want to be in a relationship. I'm good. Like, just because society tells we need to do these things, like, we're looked. This comes into like the spiritual thing and like people like judging and like because it's not the norm. It's not what society tells how we should be. Like, it's deemed as like like
Like,
you're not
taboo or something.
yeah, like, you're not worthy of some respect, like, I don't wanna follow the crowd, I don't wanna fall in that trap, like, I'm so good and so's your child, like, thanks to me, like, so, like
Yeah, no, I get that. That's unfair and petty, and obviously, like, he's struggling with himself if he can't recognize, the
I would
good
just
in you.
yeah, I would just love to heal this relationship so I don't have to deal with this motherfucker again, like, I would really just love to level with him and just have a mutual respect, like
Maybe the karmic release would just be accepting that you might not ever heal that relationship.
I don't think we ever will. I
Yeah.
don't think we ever will. But I know from my side, like I can be grateful to him for what he does bring to my son's life, like, and I fill in the parts that he doesn't, and like that's just how you co-parent. You don't have to hate and judge and like shame people. Like it's just I'm never going to meet his expectations, and I don't want to. Like
Yeah.
I just so it's yeah, it's a toughy one, but I think the point I was getting at is like it's hard to kind of heal karma when you're dealing with stupid.
Yeah. No,
Do you know
I
what
get
I
you.
mean? Like, I'd
Yeah.
love to heal this karma. I don't want to deal with you again. Let me heal this. But like, you sometimes you just can't. Like, you just can't. Sometimes you just gotta like, it is what it is. I
And I
think
think
just a
that's
more. Sorry.
no, it's okay. I just was gonna say that I think that's why we reincarnate so many times because it
Mhm.
does take so many times.
No, literally, it really does, which is frustrating.
But on some level, I know how you feel. Like it is definitely uncomfortable to co-parent with somebody that you don't agree with. You know, a lot of different things. It's hard dealing with
Yeah.
another person,
Which you'll
especially.
probably know now as well in your situation. Like I'm sure there's like it's I think but like again, like broken families is so normal now. It's like a shock if there's a family that's
Still
tight
together.
and like it's like wow, really?
Mhm, yeah, it's
Isn't
so
it?
sad. It's so sad, and I think
It's so sad.
this is my theory. I think, think about like the 50s, right? You were expected to be married very young, have babies very young. And I think it
Mhm.
was more about what you were supposed to do and less about
Mhm.
actually finding somebody compatible. So then they raised kids who lived in an incompatible household. So then they got in incompatible relationships and it goes and it goes and it goes.
Yeah. I think a big thing, like I always say this, like in I know I'm a little bit older than you, but like when we were young, like, you know, our parents were just like, "Oh, can't talk about that." Like, don't let the kids know that there's some emotions involved. Like, don't let the kids know that like we're feeling emotions right now. Like, hide it, block it, pretend it's not there. Like, I'm not only realizing, but I've realized how much damage that does. Like, because then you grow up and then you feel all these emotions and you've got no idea what they are, what to do with them. And then you have to like unpack all of that stuff. Like kids aren't stupid at the same time. Like they're not. They're not stupid. But like I think that does cause a lot of unnecessary damage. Like I do think emotions should be normalized. Like it's okay to feel these things and like learning how to hold space
Mhm.
for when them feelings come up rather than like, oh no 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 no. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
teaching children how to regulate their emotions. Like that they should be teaching this shit in schools. Like this is life. Like emotions are involved with every part of our life. It's we can't ever get away from that.
Yeah, that's why I totally agree, and that's why I try not to hide my emotions from, my stepdaughter because, like you said, I mean, it doesn't do any good, because then
Yeah,
either she's gonna think I'm a robot or she will hide
yeah.
emotions. Like, there was even one day, I was just really stressed out, and I kinda snapped at her a little bit, and then I said, "You know what, honey? I'm very sorry I snapped at you. I'm just feeling stressed out." And she was like, "It's okay. We all snap sometimes."
Oh, she sounds so cute, man.
She's so sweet. I feel like her and I are soulmates
Do you?
because I really do. I think she's like, I don't know what they call it these days, indigo child or star seed,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's so my daughter, 100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And her like spirit animal is a unicorn. She's like obsessed with unicorns.
Oh my god, really? That is how old is she?
She just turned 7.
Oh my god. Oh, that's such a lovely age as well.
Yeah, she's sweet. She's sweet. I'm just
Girls are
hoping
so
that when
sweet.
she's a teenager that she's not like, I hate you.
Never. How could she?
Yeah.
How could she? I bet you brought so much light to her life, so much love. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a blessing. Especially at this time, like, imagine if you weren't around right now. Like, oh my God, how
Yeah.
hard that would be for
Yeah.
her.
And I think it's hard sometimes too for like fathers and daughters to kind of like communicate, especially
Definitely.
because, none of us came from normal households. Like Chris has no idea how to, he's trying to figure it out just like everybody else.
Yeah. There is a huge awakening happening though with people like actually looking at their upbringings and being like, wow. Like you see, I'm seeing it so much. Like the world is completely messed up right now, but I'm seeing a lot of people like really turning to healing and trying to become better people. And it's like we're souls that are like we know that this is what we need to do. We need to create this shift.
Yeah. That's
It's
what I
really
think.
like
Go ahead.
it's just like soul deep, isn't it? It's like we all have it's this is the awakening happening. We've been like so just asleep for so long, like literally so long, and like all these souls are being born, and it's like, woo, I
Yeah.
hope it happens in our lifetime. Like I hope we get to see like some big shift. Do you feel it?
I did for a while. Now, to be honest, I've kind of like unplugged from the collective and
I
I
get
just
it because
be with my own world.
no, I get it because I did as well. Like it just got too depressing. Like when you know what's going on, I really, really have to like just detach from it all, and like you're waiting and waiting for like something to some disclosure or like some reveal or but I think what's beautiful is like I'm just seeing it so much where people are just healing. I think it's a lot with the internet, like a lot of like information is being shared. People are obviously seeing a lot more than what our parents ever had access to. And I think it's really, really helping a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think hard times also wake people up because they're like, you know what, something's not right. Why are
Hmm.
things so hard or confusing?
Yeah,
But I do
definitely.
feel that I don't know how it is where you live, but I feel
Hmm.
like if you turn on the TV, which I never do because I can't stand the news, but it's always bad news. It's always
Just
bad.
negative. Hmm.
And
Just fear, fear, fear. Like, let me just scare you as much as I can. That is
yeah,
literally the
yeah.
narrative.
And the narrative that I see, I don't hear any people around me like agreeing with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot more people are awakening than even you and I even realize because if we look at, the news or whatever, it seems like everyone's freaking out or everyone's
Yeah.
struggling, somebody died.
Yeah, it is like that. It's just so just consuming. I never watch the news ever, and I
No.
won't. And even if anything comes up, like like the wars and things, I just pray, and I just don't look into any of it because it will just get a hold of you.
And see, that's the thing too, is somebody might hear that and be like, "Oh, you should care more." But what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, "Hey guys, please stop fighting." Oh, good
No.
idea.
So true.
Honestly.
I know, I know. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. People I don't know. I don't want to generalize, but it does seem that I don't know. I feel like just I don't know. There's so many different ways to fix the world. There's nothing we can really do but fix ourselves and be the
But
example.
yeah, but I do feel like I don't know what cycle there, but I feel like we need a revolution. Like us as the public need to stand up. Like I think it's gonna have to come to that point one time. Instead of being like angry at this religion or this country or these immigrants or whatever, like we need to stand up together and turn against the people that are creating all of this.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna have to come to that point where we're just like, you know what, we're not going to work anymore. Like we'll grow our food in our backyards and
Yeah. That's why a lot of they say we're in a spiritual war. And yeah, I mean, definitely. There really are. I hate harping and bringing attention to evil, but evil exists. You
it's
know?
so prevalent in everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Just as many people who are love and light, there's people who are, I call them dark and
Really
hate. You
dark
know?
and evil.
There's an equal amount, and it's really bad. And I've seen even videos of people who used to be Satanists say, "Yeah, we used to train to connect with your children and give them nightmares and steal their souls." And like these people are serious, like to
No,
them
I
it's
can.
very real
It's very
because
real.
they understand how that works. Like I know how to go into people's dreams. I typically don't do it without like we talk about it first. You know what I mean? I'm not like a creeper, but like people can have bad intentions and affect your children. And she said that children who prayed before they went to sleep, or if their parents like kind of prayed or set an intention, they weren't able to penetrate into their mind.
Oh my god, really? Really? But even with music and things, like I can't even listen to like current music, pop music. I just honestly it burns me ears. Like it's just horrible. It's
All
like
they
there's
want
just
you
an
to
energy in it that I just feel and it's like unbearable.
Yeah, all they want you to do is think about sex and money.
Yeah. Just it's crazy, isn't it? Oh my god. Like the whole concerts and things, when you think about concerts and like all them people worshipping this artist, which is blatantly like some dark, dark soul in there. Like all that energy, like, yeah, like all
Yeah.
directed at that one person. Like, what?
It is crazy. And a lot of these people will say in interviews, "Oh, I'm a witch."
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Yes, girl. Yes, queen. Be a witch, girl."
Mm.
But she never said what kind of witch, okay?
No, yeah.
But
And
it's
you
like,
like you can work with energies, like, so if you're working with energies with really ill intentions and you've got that dark energy in you that like, oh,
yeah.
doesn't bear thinking about. It doesn't. You have to be really careful. You do.
See, and that's something like, okay, I have to be careful how I say this, but somebody I was involved with, and you will know when I describe, you'll know who it is, just
I
don't say,
think I know already.
but this person is like spiritual. And when I met them, I was still very young, right? And even though I'm like awakened or whatever you want to call it, I still didn't really understand some of the things that this person was into. And I
Mhm.
also didn't think that they were that serious about it either. I thought it was more just like an aesthetic, to be honest with you. But then I realized this person's into some dark shit, like really
Yeah.
dark. And weird things were happening. I've already shared about my like demonic experience. I think that's in episode 1. And like even since then, I feel like this person has tried to make contact with me spiritually.
Yeah.
Um, like there was one night where I had a dream about this person, and then I
Mhm.
looked at their social media and they had posted they did a spell that same night.
Oh my god. I've had a similar experience to this, and it was years ago, 2012, 13 maybe. And I met this guy and he was just like falling in love with me and I was just like, oh my god, like I went to his house and he had like me face as his screensaver on his laptop.
Oh god.
And I was like, oh my god, like it's just I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble so much. And then he was like, oh, I've just been doing a curse tonight. Like I've done a curse. And I just knew. I just fucking knew, Nia. I swear to God. And then obviously, like, I just pulled back from him, and I literally removed this curse from my life last year. Like, it come with, it really come with, and I shit you not, it was, I just had this really dark, like, vision of me, like, trapped, like, tied on a bed, and then, like, I couldn't, there was a man, like, there was a, like, a really dark black man, and I couldn't see him. So I could just see his, like, feet, and I knew he was there, and I was like, "Why can't I see him?" And then, like, my soul must have, like, because I was on a, I was using plant medicine to help us heal me trauma at this time, and I always knew this, I just always knew in my gut that this curse was there, but I didn't know how to, like, I didn't, it was just too scary, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, once I seen it, once I, like, kind of entered that realm and I seen that energy, I, like, shut up, I got the Bible out, I was like, herbs, sage, I was, like, saying all this, like, Christian, like, godly stuff that I had no idea where it come from. Like, it
Mhm.
was just, I was holding the Bible, I was like, "Ooh," and it was
Yeah.
like, it was, like, so crazy, and then I, like, seeped myself in the bath in, like, herbs, and I just kept doing this for days and days, and, like, there was a lot more that went on, but I think it's just a bit deep to, like, share, but it revealed itself to us, and honestly the energy of my life could change so much. I think I there was, like, I was just, everything ended badly, like, it was like bad luck, like everything was just going badly all the time, and I can honestly say since I removed that energy, like, I feel a massive shift in my life, in me, in my life, like, just that cloud of bad luck is just gone,
Yeah.
and
You
people
know,
can do some fucking shit, man.
yeah, and it sounds like that was a demon. Just based on how you described how it looked, and a lot of times people do curses, that's not coming from their energy.
Yeah,
They're harnessing another being.
something
Just like how if I pray for you, I'm harnessing,
like
source
light.
energy.
Mhm.
They're channeling a different source.
Yeah. And he
So
was
that sounds go ahead.
like, he what confuses, like, he was a black man, and the energy was a black man, but it was like I couldn't see him.
It was is it kind of like smoke, sort of like a smoke black, like almost see
It was,
through but dark?
no, it was like black skin, like,
Oh, oh.
yeah, but he was hiding. It was like, and when I realized he was hiding and I couldn't see him, it was like this energy's been hiding in my life for so long, like keeping me stuck, like in. It was really, really weird. I don't know if, like, I just don't know. I
I
don't know, but
I know what you're describing though, because that same person I mentioned, I've had a lot of dreams, and this it's gotten to a point where like I kind of have to every day mindfully cut cords and like all this crazy shit. Uh,
same.
but I had a dream where I was with this person and they kept saying, trust me. And then I heard a voice like coming out of the walls. And then all of a sudden I was lifted on my feet. And it was like this entity was controlling me like a puppet.
No.
And so, but see, I'm smart. Even in my dreams, I can like control my dreams. So I pretended to be scared. But then when the moment was right, I started like praying and I like kicked him in the face and like did all this crazy shit.
I
And then
totally
I
get
woke
it.
up. I like woke up as soon as I like started like raising hell in the dream.
Wow. Oh my god. And then
Yep.
did you just did that deal with it and it was gone after that?
Yes, but the problem is I feel like this person is constantly trying to get into my subconscious through my dreams. So this happens at least maybe like once a month at this point.
Honestly.
But I can't stop this person from doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? All I can
E-
do is like
Even if you
consciously.
do, yeah, even if you do, like, break the cords and things like that, like, it's, if it's that deep, it's like really hard to, like, fully snap it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
break free from it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a cord, like there's two sides. You know what I mean? So I can break the cord, but as soon as that person thinks about
Think.
me or looks at me, it goes back.
Yes. Especially if you've had, like, sex and stuff like that as well. It's like, oh, it's horrible, isn't it? The things we do when we're young and stupid. Oh my god. Wow.
The
No, but if
regret.
you look into, like, womb healing and things, that helps me quite a bit. Like, your womb is such so powerful, and obviously that's like the source of our like feminine power, our intuition,
Yeah.
everything. And like, there's a really good book called, I don't have it, Womb Wisdom, and it's
Mm.
helped me a lot. And
I
like,
think I've heard of it.
have you? It like teaches you how to like connect with your womb and talk to your womb. So like, you'll go into a meditation, you like go into the energy, and it'll tell you whose energy is still in there.
Mm.
And there's this one motherfucking energy that I just can't get rid of. I just can't get rid of it. It's always there. And I'm like, how many times?
Yeah. No,
And
I
you just gotta
understand.
keep doing it. It's crazy though, because we do just, I've literally had this conversation tonight. Like, we carry so much energy that's not even ours. That's just not even ours. Just
And
like
not even just from
sponges.
sex, like, even, like, if you go to the mall, now you've got, like,
Yeah.
30 energies on you.
Are you sitting on the bus, on the train, or like these like, it's crazy.
It
It's
is.
crazy.
And then people
Hmm.
always wonder, like, "I feel so heavy." It's like,
Yeah.
"You're carrying a lot."
No, like, I can't believe just the past year I've done a lot of like releasing, letting go of a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of situations, a lot of pain, and like I can just move my body. Like, I was like this all the time. Like, I felt so heavy. I couldn't sit straight. I was just like, and it was just like so much energy that wasn't even mine. And you don't even realize you're carrying it until you're not carrying it.
Yeah.
You
That's a
don't.
very good point.
You don't realize. It just becomes like a little cage. Like, you just, and then
Yeah.
when you get rid of it, it's like, it's so important, energy healing. It is, isn't it? I know I always come back to this point, but it literally is.
It's like who we are.
We are just energy.
And I think, like, it's we could go into this all day, though, because
I
it's
know.
energy, and then also the physical is still important, and it's oh my god. You know,
I
Earth
know.
is so ghetto, like,
Isn't it?
it's too much.
It's so beautiful though at the same time, like just Earth itself, but like, God, it's just, it's very beautiful, but also very sad. But
Yeah.
then it's like yin and yang. Like, you would never be able to appreciate the beautiful if you didn't have the really sad, and like they both just play into each other. But
Yeah.
like, you just love to see the Earth more at peace for humanity.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when you're raising children, you think of like how their future's gonna be.
I try not to think about that because I don't wanna be stressed.
Same, same. I
Like,
know.
it's just too much, it's too much, like, even I'm very, very close to my boyfriend's daughter, and, like, whenever she goes to, her other house, like, I used to worry so much that, like, I couldn't function with my day to day because 'cause I'm like, "What's happening over there? Like, who's with her? Like, what's happening?" Because I just care about her so deeply, and it got to a point where I had to tell myself, like, there's nothing I can do. I have to accept it. And, I've been reading this book, and it said that, like, the harder kids have it, like, as a child,
Mhm.
the more they have that potential to evolve into something amazing as they grow up. So I just try to tell myself, like, whatever's happening, like, it'll
Yeah.
make her a more evolved person, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm really seeing that with my son lately. I know I always talk about my son. I feel guilty because I don't talk about my daughter as much, but she is just like such a, she's an angel. Like, honestly, Nia, she is just like the purest little light. She's always just good. Like, she's never like wants anything. She's just always content. Like, happy with the littlest things. She's got so much love to give. Like, she's forgiving, she's caring, she's sharing. She's just lush. But my son, like, obviously he grew up with me. Like, he went through all my mistakes. He really, like, we have such a deep thing, us, but like, he's making me so proud at the minute. Like, he's nearly 16. He's doing so well. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's talking to us. He cares. He wants to do better. He tries to do better. Like, he's not going crazy. Like, that was my biggest worry. Like, he's going to go through this, and then he's just going to have psychological trauma, and he's really just blown me mind with how strong he is and just how he's got a little girlfriend, and it's just lovely seeing him like experience love
Oh.
and just like, do you know what I mean? Like you see it on the little face, and I'm like, oh my god, like this will be the best relationship of your life. Before
Oh.
shit gets crazy when they're all done that. But you know, like it's just like he could be so guarded, he could be so damaged, he could be so just like, chasing highs and getting into trouble and not caring about his education, and he's just the opposite. And I just think, wow, like you absolute warrior, like you went through all of that, and like here you are, like it really just blows my mind. It blows my mind, and I truly, truly believe that if we didn't have the understanding and the connection that we have, I think that's just so important. Like we all need to feel like safe, seen, and heard and
Mhm.
understood. And like that is safety to any little soul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that you should take a lot of credit for being a good mom and, like, really doing your best because it's a lot easier to just, just not do anything,
No,
really.
I think I didn't have that from my mother or my father. So like knowing what that feels like to not have it, like it gave me the tools to know what he needed, and also what he wasn't getting from his dad. Like like I'm grateful because you showed me how to be a good parent by not giving him what he needed.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I could hate you, but actually I'm really grateful because you've made me better. You've
Mhm.
really made me better because I seen what you weren't giving him, and I gave him it, and it's really helped. It's really helped with situation, with relationship a lot. Like he's my best friend forever. Like we
Yeah.
talk about everything. Like he just knows me. Like, and I know him, and that's what we all need. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We need that safe person, that like secure attachment from like one caregiver, two caregivers, great, but at least we have it with one. Like
Mhm.
it's it's what it you need to like thrive and feel safe by just feeling seen.
Yeah, see, it's interesting you bring this up, and I'm trying to think, like, who was my safety person. I feel like my biological dad was, but he always lived somewhere far. He was in the
Oh
military.
my god, right.
So I would be living, with my mom somewhere, and he would be somewhere else, so I'd only ever see him in the summer. So, like, that's
Really?
been hard. So it's like you have somebody who you feel safe and comfortable with, but you only see them once a year.
Oh my god. That
Yeah.
must have been hard.
But also, it's kinda cool because I've had a stepdad and a stepmom pretty much my whole life,
Right.
and then having, a boyfriend who has a daughter, like, I understand how she feels, I understand what it's like to feel kind of uncomfortable going from different, just different rules, different expectations,
Yeah.
different,
Mhm.
routine. So, like, I feel like I don't wanna say I'm the perfect stepmom, but, like, I just have so much understanding for her that
Yeah.
I try to make it as easy as possible,
Yeah.
whereas, like, unfortunately, you hear about the evil step-parent, that's, like, the worst, and I just, like, I never want her to have that experience, at least not in this.
No, yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. I said this to my son, like, when you got your dad, like, he cares about what clothes you're wearing, what you look like. Is your hair tidy? When you're with me, love, kindness, and respect. That's what we have in this house for each other. Like that's your dad's kind of thing, but that stays out there. That's not what we do in here.
Mhm.
And it's hard for him. It is hard for him, but I just always have to like remind him, like bring him back.
Yeah, I get
Um,
what you mean.
yeah,
It's really the whole co-parenting thing with people who aren't together, or even sometimes together, who are still together is so messy.
yeah, it can get really hard. I quite like doing it on my own. I do. I look back and I think, God, how different will life would be if I had two incomes, if I had a man I could rely on. But actually, like, I really wouldn't change it for the world. It's made me two kids. Like, it's just made me two kids. Like, I just love it. I do. I love it.
Oh, well, I'm happy for you, honestly.
No.
I'm so happy for Mason. Oh my god, like good for him. And now he's like living his life finally, getting to actually experience, being a teenager, a healthy teenager, which is
I
a
know.
blessing. So I'm just so happy. I'm glad that you and I have crossed paths. I'm sure we have had past lives
Oh
together.
my god, I'd love to know that.
I
Imagine. I'd love to
I
know
just
that.
feel
'Cause
like oh, go ahead.
I just, I just, I just think we'll have such a connection, and like I just think it's grew organically. I mean, God, has it been like 4, 5 years? Probably 4, 5 years, I would say.
It has
And
to be. I
like
don't remember like exactly when, but it was definitely like years ago.
2018, I would say.
Oh
I think
wow.
that
So that's like right when I pretty much started.
was 2018,
Wow.
and like here we are, and it's just you'll be a friend for life. Like you
Yay.
genuinely will be. And I love that. I love that vision that we had when was I sending you Reiki and I was giving you Reiki, and then your higher self came out of your body and was giving you Reiki the same time as me. And we were like just facing each other, and we both had our hands on your head, and like she was just beautiful with like long braids in her hair. And I was just like, oh my God, like I know you. I know you. That's
Yeah.
how it was.
See, that's so cool to me though, because anytime I've connected with my higher self, she always has braids. So
Braids.
when you said that, I was like, oh, she's for real.
It's so
Yes.
cool, isn't it? It's so
Yeah.
cool.
It is cool when you have that validation. And of course, like other people be like, oh my God, they're crazy. But even just that example, you can't share a hallucination.
No,
And there's no way you could have known that from what I saw.
exactly. Exactly. Like that's like that you can't write that. Like that's just so like oh my God, there's no word, but it's just so special. Like people could be experiencing these things.
And I
Like
think
people
some people, no, but I think some people do experience things like this, but then they tell themselves, oh,
oh,
I'm,
it's nothing.
yeah.
Very true. Yeah, very,
All you have
very
to do is
true.
validate your experience.
Because you think, oh, it's just me imagination, but actually it's your intuition. It's like I could have just. There's been times where I've doubted myself and not said anything. But imagine if I didn't tell you that and I just doubted myself. Like, oh, it's just. Do you know what I mean? Like, we would have missed out on that.
I have struggled with that so much
Same.
because you feel like you're psycho. You feel like, oh,
Mhm.
this is the craziest thing this person's ever heard. But then they're like, oh my God, like, you're totally right. And you're like, man, I
Yeah.
should have said more of what I actually wanted to say.
Yeah, and like even little simple things. Like I remember when I first started like going through like the psychic thing, and I was with this lady one day, and I was just sitting with her, and I just had corn on the cob in my head. Like corn on the cob, it's the most random thing ever. And this lovely old lady, and I was like, I just do you know anything? Like, is there any link with like corn on the cob? And she literally just broke down in tears, and she was like, "My husband, who's passed, I used to make him cook his corn on the cob on the barbecue all the time because it was my favorite." And like, even like, you would just never say that. You would just think, "Oh, corn on the cob," like it's just random. But that was like gave her so much, and it was such a random thing. Like, we're just sitting.
Yeah. No, that is so funny though, corn on the cob.
I know, I know.
But that's how spirit communicates. Like it's
hmm
it's specific, but it's random. You don't really know how you know. You just
But
do. And
so
yeah, I mean,
sentimental as well.
it's enough to put you in the loony bin.
Yeah.
um, but
I
yeah, it's
haven't
just
watched
gotten
your
to
video of this spirit either. I haven't watched it yet. I've had such a busy week. I
you've
I
got
need to watch this. I can't. I've seen your clip of the things. Oh my god.
so here I want to tell like kind of like the before story a
Do
little
it.
bit.
Do it.
So I was actually journaling and I was talking to my guides and I was like, please just give me the next steps. Like show me what I should do next. And so in my mind, I saw the dowsing rods. But I thought that my guides were going to use those to communicate with me.
Right.
So I was like, is this my guide? And it said no. And I was like, oh shit, it's about to get real. So I like wanted to record it to see what was gonna
Mhm.
happen. Because we have had weird like paranormal experiences, and I live like where a lot of wars have taken place. Well, not a lot of wars, a lot of battles have taken place. Um,
Mhm.
and I just always feel like that somehow was connected. So yeah, I got validation of that. Turns
Oh
out
my.
some woman like killed him. Yeah, he's buried in the yard. He was a Union
Shut
soldier.
up.
So I
He's
live
what?
in a Confederate area, like the South. So he's
Mhm.
kind of like the enemy, sort of.
Oh my god, no way!
Yeah, it's really interesting. But I want to do one more video where I ask more questions.
Mhm.
Um, like what's up with this lady? Like I want to know about that. I want to know like how as a ghost he experiences time, like if it's fast or
Yeah,
slow.
this will be so interesting.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of as many questions as I can. So go watch the video and then if you
I'm
have
definitely gonna.
I'll
I'm
do it.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Has the energy like did he feel nice? Was his energy nice? Because obviously I know you felt him around a lot. So like when you were like dealing with him, did you think he just wants to be communicated with like this? Or like what was his energy like? How did you feel?
So the thing is, like before I ever spoke to him, I assumed he was bad just because he would make me feel angry. But now I think he was just frustrated because he's trying to communicate with me and I'm just responding with fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like
So
he
do you
was more
think
just like, listen to me, find out my story, like, you know.
yeah.
But when
Do you
we,
think he was like feeling angry because she murdered him, and then that's like
yeah,
a emotion you are feeling?
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's it too. Um,
Mhm.
but no, I mean, he felt like gentle, but when I started bringing up the woman, he was mad.
Really?
Like, you got to watch the videos because
I
before
have
they would just
to.
go like this, but then when I brought her up, they started like going everywhere.
Oh my
I
god.
started to feel like pain, like almost like somebody was like punching my back.
Really? Oh my god.
So I think he's nice, but that triggers the F out of him.
Yeah. So do you think you're gonna like? Because what a lot of I've dealt with spirit and like I can send them off into the light and like, do you think you're gonna do that or like are you? What do you think?
So that I kind of mentioned that in the video, and he does want me to help him. Um,
Right.
so I am, but what I want to do is I want to do one more like questions because I have to. I gotta find out
Mhm.
more information, and then I'm actually gonna try to use the rods and have him guide me to where his body is.
Holy shit. Oh
So
my god.
yeah, I want him to try to use the rods to show me, and then I would actually like to do some type of like. I'm not gonna make like a tombstone, but I would like to do some type of honorary like
Yeah. You might
face
really
for
like
him.
that. You might really want that just to be like remembered and have it like looked at in a bit of a positive, remembrance of them.
Yeah, because what ended up happening was he's upset not only because
Mhm.
she killed him, but she never got punished for it.
This is a big thing that I'm dealing with for myself right now, Nia. It's mad you said that, because I'm like, I'm sorry to change the subject, but I just think it's mad you said that because this is a big theme that I'm dealing with. Like, I'm like really struggling to heal and let something go because he just got away with what he did.
Hmm.
And I don't want to die with that. Like, I don't want to end my life with this like burden, but I'm like struggling how to like kind of let it go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
So
I'll.
that's crazy, like the synchronicity, and I think that that's really what he's having a hard time with. And I'm
Mhm.
assuming that if he was buried in the yard, that he didn't get like the honorary like funeral or burial he should have got.
Yeah, definitely.
So I
Oh,
think
that's so
by
sad.
showing respect, I think that'll help. By sharing his story, I think it'll help.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and then hopefully he can just easily go.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to be heard, like, because that's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And they say that, like, when spirit are making, like, themselves known like that, they want to be heard, don't they? Like, they're trying to get your attention. It's like there's unfinished business. They need to kind of.
Yeah. Now I kind of feel bad because I'd always
I
just be like,
know.
"Go away."
I know, I get it. I get it. But when I was messaging you a couple of weeks ago about I could feel a spirit, I just reikied my whole house. And then I called in Archangel Michael, and he always like if I'm doing this work, he will always like open like this portal. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this in the future or something. Like clearing spaces or something. I feel like it's just a theme that keeps occurring with me.
Yeah.
Um, and he opened this portal, and it was like this big Hoover, kind of like it was. Do you know, like if you think of it, is that what they call them in America? Hoover. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
You know, like a vacuum that you
Oh, okay.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, vacuum. So like this portal just kind of opened up and it just started like sucking all of the energy like out my house. But it was like the energy of the past like 8 years.
Oh,
Like I
wow.
really think I've like let go of a lot of things. Like all this energy just needed to go. I'm like stepping into like a new era for sure. And it just like I think it was just like all the energy and spirits of just past times, like people who've come in my life and now they're gone, and their energy when it's been in my house, and literally just sucked it all away, like from every room, every wall, every ceiling, like, and then like so my daughter, she's so intuitive. She came back from my grandma's and she was like, "Oh my god, like it feels like a house again. It feels like a home." Cause
Wow.
she'll pick up on that, like, she's like my little right hand lady, like, if I'm intuitively like, something doesn't feel right," she'll be like, "Mom, the energy's not right in here," and I'm like, "Okay, like,
Yeah,
I'm on it."
yeah.
She, like, confirms everything, so I didn't even tell her what I did, and she come in, she was like, "Wow, like, the house feels like a home," and I was like, "Oh my god."
No, but see, that's why you have to watch this video too, because my stepdaughter used to always say, like, "There's a guy in here," and I'd be like, "All
Oh
right,
my
like, calm
god.
down." And I believed her, but at the same time, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say, "Oh yeah, it's the ghost."
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, and then I asked it. I was like, "Do you scare her?" And it said yes.
Oh my
Because there
god.
was one night she was in her room and she was like dead asleep, and we always leave her door open. We never shut our door
Mhm.
when she's asleep. And all of a sudden, I heard her start choking. So I like obviously went to her room to check on her, and the door was shut. And she like when I opened the door, she like was crying. I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So I just had her sleep with us.
Yeah, yeah. It's easier for them to get through, like, to children as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was so much going on with mine when I had that spirit child. I talked about it on the last video.
Hmm.
Like, there was this really weird night. I think this was the night. Do you know when I talked on the last video where she was attached to Mason and she was just feeding off his energy? This one, I think this was the night that she done it, and this is what happened. I was in my room, and I was watching Vikings on the telly, and I could just hear this like high pitched squeal, and it was like, but like really eerie, like, and it wasn't coming from my telly; it was coming from the landing. And every time I turned the telly off, it would stop, and I would be like, "No, I know it's not coming from the telly. Like, it's really weird." And like this would happen a lot where I would leave my room and their bedroom doors would be like wide open, and I'd always just leave them open a little bit and leave the light on, but then like the doors would be open, taps would be on, like toys would go, alarm clocks would go off.
Mm.
Like one time we had my niece staying, and she literally like was asleep, and she got on all fours and she was like rocking backwards and forwards, like really freaky, like really freaky. But anyways, this night I heard this noise, and then it stopped, and I left my room and I went out, and Mason's bedroom door was like wide open,
Yeah.
and so his bed was like here, yeah. So his bed was like that, and he was lying like this way, and he's facing the wall, like so he's facing that way, and his whole quilt was off the bed and just laid flat perfectly the opposite way. So his bed's this way and his quilt was like that. It was just laid flat, like on top of his toys, on top of everything, like just like. And I was like, and then the alarm clock went off all on its own. And then like that was a night that like I feel like she attached to
Yeah.
him. Like that stuck in my head all the time.
Mm.
It was strange. Oh my god, so freaky, isn't it? When you think
I
about
know.
it.
I know, and it's just funny to me because I always think about like other people being like, "Okay, whatever you say," right? But
Oh
it's like,
my
no,
god.
it happens.
It fucking happens. It actually does. But and you don't want to scare people either because it's like really scary. But this is why there's light workers and there's people like us to like deal with. Imagine if we weren't around.
True. That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
The judging were, but actually, like we're doing some serious work on this planet.
Mhm.
Serious work. We're like that's what a light worker is.
Mhm. That's true, actually.
Mhm.
I really feel like, and I've done this a little bit, but I want to do it more. Like as I grow, I want to do more like, um, paranormal investigating and all that type of
That'd be
stuff.
so cool.
Like, I really wanna do that. And I do you know who Ed and Lorraine Warren are?
I don't think so.
Have you ever seen any of the Conjuring movies?
Yes.
The couple that works together to, like, help those people that have, like, the possessions and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I basically wanna be that. Like,
Be that. You'd be so good at that.
I would
You'd be
love it.
so good at that, wouldn't
I
you?
would but it's so dangerous too at the same
I
time.
know, I know.
It's not a joke.
No, it's not. My
But
friend would be good at that. She's really good with spirit and things. I just don't like just every so often, like, what a spirit will come and then I have to go and like I have to go to a certain person and tell them the message or something. Like it's very I don't get spirit a lot of the time, but every now and then I'll like something really deep and like profound will happen and I'm like, oh my god, like wow, how the hell? And it's just funny like that, yeah.
mhm. Well, anyways, Helen, thank you so, so much
I
for
know, we've talked a
being on the
lot, haven't
show.
we?
No, it's okay. I just know it's getting late where you are. It's probably like 11:30.
Have we, oh my god, yes, an
Yeah.
hour and a half. That
Yeah.
went so quick.
But yeah, so thank you so much again for coming on, and thank you,
Thank
like,
you.
guys, she's been helping me do Reiki for my boyfriend as well, and she's just been a really good support system for me to have, and I appreciate her. So thank you for being on, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
everything that you do.
You're very welcome. And I'm not going anywhere either, so just so you know.
Okay. I believe you.
Okay, well, let me know, yeah? How tomorrow goes and things. Give me a message.
All right. All right. Love you,
Okay,
girl.
praying.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, love you.
Love you.